Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and especially you, nephew, welcome back to Union Arena. Now, first and foremost, I have to apologize. I had this shirt. It's literally Attack Aaron, bro, and I didn't wear it yesterday. Completely whiffed. But don't worry, wait till we get to a Mikasa deck, and I got something for that too. But I had to put it on today. Represent for Attack on Titan. As we go through it here, I don't know why these cards are glitched here, but today we are going over the green Marleyan Titans deck. Now this is definitely not the final deck list for this build. I need to find some missing pieces here and there, but once again, this is just something I made up quickly so I can show off these cards and show how they work, so maybe you guys can start deck building and theory crafting, and if you have any ideas, you can drop them in the comments. So much like the video from yesterday, the red Aaron video, which if you haven't seen, you can go ahead and go watch that. We are another ramp deck. So the Aaron build had the basement, which was a 3 energy generator. We have a Reiner, which is a 3 energy generator, which I will talk about in a second. But first, let's just go over these cards in order and show you what they do. So for our 0 cost, we have Annie, which is a raid target, Bertolt, which is also a raid target, and Reiner, which is another raid target. So 3 raid targets in this deck. They all are Titan holders, which I'm gonna put something at the beginning of this video, but definitely, Jesus Christ, what is this ad? Definitely huge spoiler alert if you have not seen Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is amazing. Go ahead, go watch it. It's amazing. It won't be a waste of time. But this deck is even more spoilers than the last deck, which I also should have given a spoiler warning for. But this one for sure, spoiler warning. It's kind of too late, but whatever. The Annie is your standard draw a card and trash a card. Reiner is just a vanilla. And this Bertolt is, you can rest him to generate 2 energy for the turn. And at the end of the main phase, you sideline this card from your field. So normally, decks don't really run, or I don't really run decks like this where you sideline the card at the end of your main phase. I'm gonna have to get an ad blocker. Them ads are wilding. But for this deck in particular, because he's a raid target, and if you haven't saw, this raid target is a cost of 10. And I was struggling getting to 8 costs before, so 10 is crazy. But you can rest this, generate 2 energy, and then raid on top of it, and you won't lose this card. You'll just push it up to the front line with your raid target. And there's also other tricks, something that I missed, and luckily enough my opponent was cool enough to catch me on it, which is coming up in these games later. I have 2 games for you with this deck. I didn't play 2 games. I played about 10, and I think I lost about 8. So I think 2 games I actually got what I was thinking about in my head. So I'm going to try to highlight those games. But like I said, this is definitely not the final deck list. Has more bricks, or I'm sorry, more non-triggers than I would like. It's running 10 non-triggers. Both these Annies and this Bertolt is a non-trigger. And I would like to have something with maybe an active trigger. I was not getting a lot of, actually I don't know if I'm running any active triggers now that I look at it. Oh, this is the only active trigger in this deck. Yeah, nothing else is an active trigger. So maybe I can find somewhere to replace one of these non-trigger cards with an active trigger, but then again, this is in here because I need the energy generation just as long as this, and this is in here because I need to search. So let's move on, starting with this other Annie card, which is a 1 cost 1 AP. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck and reveal 1 Marleyan warrior or pure Titan card and add it to your hand. Place the remaining at the bottom of your deck in any order, and then if you drew a card through this effect, trash one card. So your standard searcher for your Marleyan warriors, which is every single character card in this deck is a Marleyan warrior. The only things that you will whiff on are your event cards. Going to the next card, this Annie is a 2-cost 1 AP. If it is active, it's generating 2 energy, so it's just a good ramp card. And then the first raid of the deck, this Annie, this is sort of this is all I really have for mid game currently. But you also want to keep her alive, so it's kind of awkward playing her out and just watching her get sidelined by an effect. Because her raid effect is, if it's on the front line, your Marleyan warrior affinity cards or rated affinity cards require 1 less energy. So that would count for him and him. So we see that this is a 7 cost and 10, so this will be dropped to a 9 cost and a 6, which is very important for this deck. To not only generate energy, but discount energy. And from what I can tell, it stacks. It doesn't say that it does not stack. So if I have 2 of these out on field, these are reduced by 2. And her when played effect is play 1 green card with a cost 3 or less energy and 1 AP from your hand set to resting on your field. So this is actually just good for replacing your Annies. Especially if you raid over your double energy generator, you sort of lose the energy in that, but you can replace it with a second Annie if you have one in hand, a Bertolt, a Reiner, or this Bertolt, or better yet, this is the target I go for most often. It is a, get this ad, it is a double energy generator just in general, and if you have 6 or more energy generation, you draw a card when played. Yeah, just replacing it really just replaces the raid target you went over, because none of these is over 3 cost, or you can just add this Bertolt to the field. And then finally, one sideline, return the base card of this rated character to your hand, so you can replay one of your Annies, which is good for searching or draw when trashing one. This really isn't the best raid target for her. You would much rather just have this on your board, double energy generating. Gotta slow down when I talk. Because you also just don't want this coming back to hand, because you really don't get the best effect when you replay this. You're better off replaying one of these 2. Next card, or we already went over this card, so I'll go over to this Bertolt, which we did already go over, but just going over it again. Double energy generator, and if you have 6 or more energy, draw a card. Much like the Ling in the yellow Elric deck that I played before, which if you also haven't seen that video, go ahead, check that out. This Bertolt is our color trigger for the deck, and if you don't know what the green color trigger is, it is you can play 1 green card with the cost of 2 or less required energy and 1 AP from your hand set to active on your field, which is pretty good for cheating out one of these tiny bodies anywhere on the field that you would like. But you really don't want this color trigger. You would much rather have this Bertolt in hand. And I figured out that, or at least the way this deck was built, you sort of want this, you do want it on the front line. It sucks when it just gets blown up. I think I played 1 game against a Roy Mustang, and if you know the Roy Mustang deck, you can trash a card to add an AP value to like sidelining a card. This is only a 1500. I so wish that it had just maybe 2000 power to at least block their weenie blockers, because 1500 is the weakest, or no, not the weakest. There's 500 stat lines, but 1500 is really the base weakest stat line in the game. But I guess it also makes sense because Bertolt was never really a fighter in the anime. But that's spoilers. So yeah, but the important thing is he generates energy on your front line, which, like I said, energy generation is the name of the game with this deck. So having just an extra slotted energy generator on your front line to help you cheat out all these other bodies, all these other big bodies that you want, even this event, which I'll talk about later, which is a 9-cost event, is so important. And being able to put it on your front line, having a, not aggression, because he is only a 1500, but a couple early swings and maybe even some early blocks, because you really want to be saving your life for the late game. And the reason why is because of this Berthold. Now this Berthold is very good. Well, I don't want to say very good. It's a good card. It is 1 rated. It has impact 1 and damage 3. Normally it's only like damage 2, but this one is just damage 3 in general. Normally it's like damage 2 for some other effect, but this is, I mean, it's a 10 drop, so it has to be good. And then when played, sideline all characters with 0 required energy on your opponent's front line, and this character cannot be chosen by your opponent's trigger abilities until the end of turn. And so it is, I think, now that I read that, I think I made a misplay before, but we'll talk about that when we get there. You see, I'm only running 3 of these and 3 of these, because I don't really want to see 4 of them. I really only need 1 of each in my hand. I'm running 4 of these because this is what you want to be playing most often. Especially, you will never ever play 2 Bertholds, because of the first effect, which I skipped over, is if this card is in your front line, the number of cards you can place on your front line is reduced by 1. So that means you can only have 3 cards instead of 4 on your front line. And obviously if you had 2, then you would only have those 2 Bertholds, which is not that good. That is how I lost most of my games, is I was down to 1 life because I wasn't using my bodies correctly to block out and save life, and they just had 1 more swing than I did, 1 more swing than characters than I did, even though my characters were tall. Like, this is a 6k base power, which is a nice stat line, because like y'all saw in the Elric Brothers, like the greed is a 5k. A lot of things are 5k as like the stat line, or the premium stat line, outside of Saitama, which is like 10,000 or something, or 1,500, but it's One Punch Man, so that makes sense. But 6k is a huge blocker and huge swinger. This impact is almost always going through, because you really force them to decide, are you going to take 3 damage, or are you going to take 1 damage and lose a character? And that's very good. A very good predicament you put them in when you're playing the deck correctly. So maybe I just need more practice with it. I think the last game I showed today, I have a decent amount of practice with it, and I think I let it show, even though I think my draws are off a little bit. But 0-cost Reiner, we already went over. This 5-cost Reiner, it is a 5 energy, 2 action point character. When played, draw 2 cards and place 1 card from your hand to the sideline. Now this is a 3 energy generator and draw 2 trash 1, so no wonder it costs 2 action points. And this is also something that was messing with my mind. I'm just not used to playing 2 action point cards yet. If I just, like I was saying, get more practice and really plan out my turns better, I feel like I could make the use of this to its fullest content or ability. It is a 4,000 BP character, so it can be an attacker, but you mostly want it on your energy line to generate that 3. Mostly for late game, you can push this up as an attacker. And yeah, so this is your main ramp, your huge ramp, much like the Mei Chang and much like the basement in those last 2 decks I played. His raid target for both these Reiners is this Reiner Braun, the Armored Titan card. These ads are every 5 seconds. Jesus Christ. It is Impact 1 and Nullify Impact, which is huge, and is a 5k BP card. So this is, this is where normal decks end for their premium stat line. I know the Homunculus deck, their father is their boss card, and that's a 5k. Like I said, the Elric deck had the 5k greed when he's rated. There's a lot of 5k stat lines, which is like the max it will go, but this just breaks it. It's just a much more defensive blocker, which is what he did in the anime, so it makes sense. This ability is during the opponent's turn, your opponent cannot choose this character with an ability or character event cards unless they pay 1 AP as an additional cost. So it's a little bit of protection. It is the Armored Titan, so there is a way to get around it. You just got to work a little harder for it. You got to spend that AP card and make that be a part of your game plan from going forward. Your opponent has to make that a part of their game plan, I should say, going forward. Going over to the event cards. This 9-cost event, man, is it cool, but man, is it hard to get to. But I'll read it off for you. It says, "We fight now, we decide this right here." So if you know this part of the anime, the final spoiler alert. I swear to God, if anybody comments that I can't believe you spoiled this for me, you're getting banned. I'm gonna figure it out how to do it on YouTube. You're getting banned. But this is when Reiner and Berthold reveal that they are the Armored and Colossal Titan. And so the event is choose one of the abilities listed below. If there's a character with Reiner Braun in his name on your field, choose all instead. And the two options are: look at the top 7 cards of your deck, reveal 2 green character cards among them, add them to your hand, and place the remaining to the bottom of your deck in any order. So you look for 2 cards. And the second part is play up to 2 green character cards with the cost 4 or more required energy, so 4 into the infinites, and set them active onto your front line or perform raid on them and onto other characters in your field. So if you're following, this is also a 2 AP card, which, like I was saying, it's hard for me to get used to, but it's important to know. If you're following, you can search for both. Say you didn't have these 2 in your hand, and this is why I only run the 3, because most of the time I do have them in hand, and if not, I can use this to search up both of them. But you can search both the Armored Titan with Reiner and the Colossal Titan with Berthold on this card, and as long as one of these Reiners, any of these Reiners, are on your field, you get to play it out all for 2 AP. So you get both these big bodies on your front line, and hopefully you have a Annie up there already, and then your front line is just set for the rest of the game, because with this, you can only have 3. So your front line will just be set with this, and maybe if you have another or actual one of these, you can block out with this, let it die, and then raid him on, raid a second Armored Titan on, and then you have 2 5k blockers with Nullify Impact and a 6k blocker, which is not Nullify Impact, but essentially Nullify Impact, because a impact card has to win in order for the impact to go through, and there's not a lot that will go over 6k outside of a what's the card I just said, Saitama. So unless the opponent is lowering your power, then that adds to this. If they had something to lower this to a 5k and then swung 5k with impact, then it wouldn't be Nullify Impact, but that is a very specific setup on your opponent's end. So this is a huge card. The only thing is, this is our special trigger, so we can only run 4 special triggers in the deck. I am debating on running 2 instead, and then running a removal special card just to have in hand, because sometimes you have this in hand, but you need to remove from their board as well. So if we can, no, I'll talk about that later. I'll talk about that at the end, after we watch the games. Then we'll go over the deck changes. For now, let's just move on. This is our AP restand in our final, and then this card, we're doing it right now. So this is the other side of this event, where Berthold is sort of reacting to Reiner, sort of spilling the beans on purpose, and he's tweaking out. So that's what you say. We're doing it right now here, and so this, you choose a card on the field. It gains 2 energy generation until the end of turn, and if there is a character with Berthold Hoover on your field, choose up to 1 AP cards and switch it to active. So this card, I like I said, we'll do deck changes later, but I was sleeping on this card, and it really won me one of the games today. But it is huge. It again is another ramp card, and if you have a Reiner on field, which you most likely will, with a 0 cost, a 1 cost, and a 3 cost, they're not that hard to get out. It is a ramp card for free because you restand an AP card. So that's the deck list, and let's hop into the games. So this is first game we have for today. It's not the first game I played. So I keep this. Let's analyze this first. This starting hand. Oh, right. And at this point, I was choosing to go first. Normally I go second, so I get 2 characters out first, but I started going first because of this Berthold right here. He's only a 1 AP or 1 energy cost, so I can just play him on my second turn and sort of get a free, not free, but an extra energy generation after I play one of my 0 costs. And that is also why I keep this hand. Even though there's no, raid targets in here or a searcher in here, I keep it because I have this Berthold. This Berthold is very, very, very crucial to the game plan of ramping. We'll find our ramp cards eventually, or we'll find our raid cards eventually. For now, we're just going to keep this, especially because this one draws me a card and this one draws me 2. So I should keep, oh, and let me put this at 2 times speed because I forgot, and mute it. Speed at 2 times, and once again, I'm always letting my opponent know that that I am playing out the deck or the set that's not really out yet. He doesn't seem to mind, so we just move on. Just in case they really do care about, practicing for an upcoming tournament or something, I always let people know in case they just don't want to play, and just go straight to someone else. So yep, so the exact play that I called, playing this instantly to the front line, sort of builds pressure that they might want to, move a card up just to chump block if they don't want to lose life early, or they can lose life early. And it's generating me energy, so I get to play this 2 cost Annie to my energy line, and now that's generating 2 energy, so I'm already at 4 energy. So you see the ramp is live, and you can see that I also top decked my 10 cost Reiner raid. Okay, I'm remembering this game more and more, and it gets extremely scary. I think they end up saying that they break out. Am I really moving that slow? Okay, yeah. So I'm moving very slow. But I'm also just reading a lot of cards, making sure all my energy is correct, that I'm playing correctly. But yeah, so I play out this Reiner. Like I said, I was at 4 energy already, so playing this out generates me 2, which means I get my when played trigger and draw a card, and then I believe I draw into another Annie, so I play this out to the energy field to also start generating me 2 when she stands up. And then just playing this to the front line. So now I'm generating 2 on the front line, and I get a free life swing here. The Lord blessed me with no special triggers. And yeah, okay, he makes a mistake here. I think he said he's used to a different sim. So I'm sort of just waiting for him to fix that out, which he should soon. Yep. So he sidelines the card, but I tell him to just don't worry about it. You know, pick it up, and then just put the card you draw back to the top of your deck. I don't really mind. Yeah, I don't really mind that much. Yeah, in my turn, so he goes into his main, puts the card back, and we're all good. But my energy is up, so I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 energy already. So yeah, I'm so good, so good for now. So yeah, they raid their Sukuna early. Not early, but you know, on curve, which is good. They get to rest one of my bodies and search for a finger or a throne, or shrine. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's the scary part of this deck, because I know, and there's my other raid target. So I have both my 10 drops in hand. I don't need both. I'll probably end up sidelining it, and there's my third raid target. So now I'm pretty much good. As long as I don't make any misplays, which I probably do. So I rate this card over because I'm at, like I said, I was at 8 energy, I believe. Then I get to AP restand, stand up 2. Play this for 2 AP and draw 2, trash 1. I think I decide to trash. Yeah, I decide to trash the Reiner here, so I can play out this Annie. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 11 energy. Can somebody explain to me why I am not playing my Reiner here? Okay, like I said, as long as I don't make any mistakes, I'll be good. And there's my mistake right there. Yeah, if I played the Reiner here, I force out this, because this is a 0 cost. So she'll just get sidelined. And then I have an impact swing, a impact with 3 damage swing, and a weenie swing. I don't really know what I'm doing here. I don't know why. I probably just didn't recount the energy generation I had. But I decide to raid this and then use her effect to play out another Annie to the line, draw 1, trash 1. That's fair. I don't need to. So I can trash one of those. And then I'm getting him the impact modifiers and nullify impact modifier. And yeah, now I have full board and I get to swing in. No trigger, thank the Lord. And I believe this is no trigger as well. No trigger, thank the Lord. They get kind of greedy. They lose 1 body and then they free block. So yeah, now we're set up for the next game. But I did all that ramping and did not capitalize on it. If I capitalized on it, he definitely would have lost both the Sukuna and the Kugisaki. Kugisaki would have been trashed by his effect, and then I would have swung 3 damage with impact. So you can take that or you can leave it. Then I would swing again with impact, and then he'll be forced to block. Or he can take it or he can leave it, and then he'll be forced to block one of these if he hadn't blocked already. And if he had blocked already, it's just, or no, he would have been forced to block just 1 more because I would have raided over this Reiner. But it's fine. You live and you learn. Just make sure you count your energy, Donovan. But yeah, so they start building up on these fingers, and you see me frantically checking his sideline, because the more fingers that's in his sideline, the more effects his Sukunas get. If he has the raid target, so he gets the AP restand, and there's one of the Sukunas, and yep. So this is one of the effects is depending on how many. Yeah, I was asking if it was sideline, but he was just bounce too, and so I just bounced these back. And I think here, because if I think I'm realizing, yeah, with how much energy I have, if I bounce it back to hand, I won't be able to play him out. But I forget he is a 10 cost, 1 action point, so I can just replay him out, and then I'll be at 10 energy again. Well, no, if I replay him out, I'll be at 3, 6, 7 energy. I'll replay him out, I'll be at 8 energy. But then I activate this effect, which reduces the cost of him by 1. So I get to play him out back to the front line. And then, yep, counting my energy and then realizing everything, play as raid, and then the sim stops me here. It forces me to have enough energy generation to play it out. Even though, so this is just, sim things. It's not really how the game works, but so I just remove it. Not remove the card. Come on, Donovan. Yep, remove it. And yep, now my front line is essentially full. I'm gonna use my last AP to search top 3, and add my second raid to hand just in case she gets removed. I get to just come back with the next turn with just as much aggression. And so now I add my modifiers, or yep, I reread the card and check his cost, and that is a 0 cost, so she will get sidelined. So it just gets rid of a weenie blocker. So now you're forced to lose one of your Sukunas or take 3 damage. And he takes the 3 damage. Big gambling, man. But it works out because he gets 2 active triggers. So both of his characters go over both of my attacks. There's nothing I can do about that. Don't have game this turn, but it will be, he will be at 1 life from here on out, and I have 6 with a 5k nullify impact, which you need 2 AP to get rid of, and a 6k on board. So very, very, very difficult wall to get over. So this is what I mean by when I'm able to keep my life high, and I don't have to worry about having or getting out impacted. So here, yep, this is one of the things. Here he tries to divergent fist me. Pause. Divergent fist only works on a 5k or less, and Berthold is a 6k, so you can't even remove him through that ability. Maybe if there was like my Traveler from Zing, which I played in the yellow deck, if I had 6 Zing cards on field, then that will be a remove option. But Divergent Fist caps out at 5k with a UG on the board. So yeah, he's throwing GGs because he can't swing over any of my bodies. And like I said, if she got removed, I get to raid her back in and move up. And yeah, and then he says that he couldn't find his energy generators. He had a 7 cost in hand. He only needed 1 more energy, but he just couldn't find it. Unfortunately, that just happens sometimes. That's why we run so much energy generation in this deck, so we can never whiff. But yeah, I just swing in with impact. He has no nullifies on the board, so he has to take this. And even if it was a final trigger, I would be swinging in with another impact, which you'll have to take. So that was game 1. So you sort of see how the game is supposed to be played, or how this deck is supposed to be played, and sort of just being very defensive at first, and then flipping it on its head in the late game when you ramped all your Don. Well, not late game, but mid game when you ramped all your Don. This was a hard mulligan for me because I have my 1 cost Berthold in hand, and you know how I feel about that card. That's the blood of this deck currently. but I had no zero cost in hand, so didn't want to be greedy. Decided just to mulligan it. Yeah, you see me circling over it just out of frustration. So I mulligan it, and then once again, just letting them know I'm testing out the AOT stuff if it's cool. And I'm pretty sure he's also testing out AOT this deck. So I play this draw one, trash one. I trash one of my Rhiners because I have one in hand. Maybe that wasn't the best decision. Maybe it should always be this the 10 drop, because you know that's coming out later in the game, and if I wanted to play two Rhiners out, I can. I don't have to restrict my board for that, and just, you know, pray that I run back into it. But it worked out this game. So yeah, he's saying he mulliganed twice and no zeros. So I think he takes this turn. I asked if he wanted to remake, but I think he plays it out, or he looks back through his hand and he has zero costs. Yeah, so he should play it out from here. But the next turn is more than likely just going to be our zero cost Reiner here, the rest in sideline one, and the zero cost Bertolt to keep my energy generation going. And then I will more than likely just go into this 3 cost draw on the next turn of my curve, and then from there I can start raiding out cards, because I can tap this for 2 and I get to raid out my my extra my Armor Titan Bertolt and go from there. So yeah, he is playing the blue Levi deck from this Levi squad deck from this game. I think this also needs a lot of energy. It seems to be the overall theme of this set is energy generation. But I'll have to see when I test it out for myself tomorrow. I think that's the deck I want to play next, is the Levi squad, and see how well that plays. So yep, just like I said, play out the Bertolt. I'm generating 6 energy now, so I get to play that on 2 boards. So this is one of the things that I was talking about. For some reason, my brain just poof. So I rested this card to double energy generate, right? I can still interact with this card. For some reason, my brain was like, I need it for all the energy generation that I need, or for all the energy generation this turn. But this is the last card I'm playing this turn. I've used 2 AP for it. So what I should have done, and my opponent lets me know that why not sideline this card, or remove from play this card, and I'm like, I'm dumb. That's why not. That's why. Yeah. Yeah. So you're right. I'm tweaking. Yeah. Remove that from play instead, and then return this to the board. And yeah, now my energy is all set. I actually did I completely whiff the play here? So I think maybe I sidelined that Annie on purpose, because I'm currently at 7. Yeah, I think I sidelined that Annie on purpose. No, because okay, figured it out. I think this is one of those times where I forgot this is 2 AP. So I think the original plan was play this out and then raid this Reinhardt, the Armor Titan Reinhardt onto this Reiner Overwatch build, onto this one, and then move it up. But it was 2 AP. I couldn't do that if I wanted to. What I would have had to have done is stand up 2 with my event card here, but wasn't thinking, or I just missed the play. But it's fine. We just go through it. So let's skip over my mistakes, shall we? Oh, I can't even, whatever. It's fine. Just fixing it back up. Just learning the game. Shout out to my opponent here, the 1x21, for letting me, or for calling me out and letting me fix up my thing, letting them know where I started at and that I'm new. So yeah, he plays out this Levi stuff. So I was reading his cards, and so this one searches for a blue event card, which I feel like is huge because there's so many times where I bottom deck an event and that I feel like I need. So that's what that errand does. It searches for an event and it's a nullify impact. Let me finish my thought. It's a nullify impact. And the second thing is a lot of his cards had using AP on the attack phase, which I think is very interesting. So I'm excited to look at his deck close, or his set, his affinity, a little bit closer, and see what I can build with it. But yeah, now I decide to raid with the Reiner, getting them out on board. Oh, this is the nastiest turn of my life. I don't think I will ever beat this. I know I said I just started, but I will probably never beat this play. But I raid him onto the field. Really nothing happens. I just get my my modifiers. I just make sure that everything is cool with the sim. Add my nullify impact, and then I get to looking at these cards. Play this to the energy line. This might be low-key a waste. No. I think I do want to search here. This is a good search for me. I think I'm looking for an Annie card here, because for some reason my brain was just so locked on Curve Annie, Armor Titan, and Colossal Titan in that order, and then I just couldn't think past it until I took a good look at my hand. And if y'all remember what this card does, and you see the play here, it gets nasty. It gets very nasty. So I AP restand, stand up 2. I meant to play that to the energy line and then sideline one of these Annies, or remove from play one of these Annies, draw a card. So now I have 2, 4, 8 energy currently. And I'm looking at my hands, I am so glad I stopped myself, because I was just gonna play this and just prep for next turn raiding this out. But this card, like I said before, adds 2 energy generation to one of your cards and restands an AP if a Berthold is on board, and I have 2 of them. So I get to play this out for free, go to 10 energy, and guess what costs 1 AP? It's very good. I might have to up that to 3 cards, because this play here is absolutely ridiculous. Stand up the AP and then raid this on, and now I have a 3 damage, 1 impact, or I have an impact, 2 impacts on board, 1 with 3 damage, and they have nothing to block the 3 damage. So they are taking 4 damage on, what is this, turn 3? Only because they didn't develop their front line. So this isn't gonna happen every time. Yeah, I'm letting my opponent know, yeah, this is insane that all this just works. So they are already down to 4 cards. Yeah, there they go, calling out for the Lord. I did the same thing when I realized it. I think I just let them know that I'm so glad that I peeped. I'm looking at the board just to make sure I'm not cheating at this point, because I just took off half their life in 1 turn. It's sick. It's sick. It's absolutely disgusting. Yeah, don't actually ignore my typing here, because I can't spell. Don't worry about it. I am not an English major. I can barely play this card game straight. And y'all expect me to spell correctly? No. So yep, they play out the Petra for some more energy generation. They also move up their errand for the nullify impact, which is huge against both my impact characters. So this raid Levi is -2k, which is huge. And then when attacking, you can pay 1 AP to sideline a 2K or less. But instead, this is what I was talking about. They reduced me to a 4K and then used their last action point to use their event card, which KOs a 5K or less. So this goes to the sideline. Good removal from my opponent. Good removal from my opponent, because if that stayed on board for much longer, it's just it would have just been lights out way faster than how this game ended. But if you guys can, like, just look at the board, this is exactly where I want to be. I have a raid target on board. I have a huge life lead. Now I get to just move up this Reiner, because it's a 4K swinger, so I'm still forcing them to block the impact with the nullify impact. And if they want to block the other 4K, they will still be forced to lose their Levi. But I think they decide to take it here. Yeah, they decide to take it here. They get another Levi into hand, and it's their turn. Oh, also, I'm pretty sure the rules state that you cannot have 9 or more cards in hand when the turn ends, but I wasn't calling them out on it, mainly because I didn't think it was that important, especially because of how this game is going. I'm pretty sure, at least that's how they played it at my locals. Well, that's what they let me know at my locals. I'm pretty sure you can only have 8 or less cards in hand at the end of turn. I think they end with a couple more. Maybe it's not this turn, but maybe a different turn. So they sideline my. Let me go back. I don't know if y'all saw it. They decide to use their event to sideline my Reiner, and then the Reiner effect forces them to rest another AP card, which just continuously slows them down, and I can continue my board pressure. So they spin 2, I have to sideline them, and then they play out and Levi. So this was huge, because this Levi is at the start of your attack phase. Oh no, I'm sorry. Okay, so it's not this turn. Oh, it's this Levi. So the second Levi is when attacking, you can rest an AP card to KO a 2K or less. I mean, it really doesn't matter much here, but this deck forcing them to rest 2 AP cards just made it even less likely that it'll happen. So I move up my Reiner here from my energy line, and I draw into another one. So I draw 2 trash 1, and I'm trashing one of the anti-raids here so I can raid over this one. And then with her effect, I play out a double energy generator in her stead. And then my board is still active, so I swing with this first just in case they want a free block, really forcing the free block out. Because they only have 2 life left, now they're forced to lose whichever character they left standing up, which is the raid Levi. So now it's their turn, but guys, like, what really is possible here? They don't have enough energy generation to really make big plays. They sideline my Reiner again. I'm checking because that's like the 3rd special card that they've used from hand, so it won't be in life. I also was checking for final cards just in case, but I didn't see any in life. So yep, they started their attack phase, so they stand up a card, and now they can they give themselves +1 BP and protection from triggers, and that's important because well, I get hit and it's a sideline trigger, and I just get overexcited. And you see, I instantly say sorry because he's immune, and I literally just read the effect. So not that one, but the other one, the rested one, really to just get him out the way so I can go for a game next turn. but they attack into me, and I just take it because I can't lose at this point. I just want as many cards in hand, just in case it was another raid card. Yeah, and then they say GG's, and I'm pretty sure they leave here. Yeah, they leave here, and then it kicks us out. Yeah, they say GG's here, and leave a bit early. Yeah, wish I had energy, and I start typing, yeah, bricking sucks, because I do that a lot with this deck. Not bricking entirely, but just drawing cards out of order was a bit of a problem. Not too much, but I was just trying to relate. But yeah, they say GG's because next turn, they'll have 2 blockers, but all I gotta do is push up 2 cards and swing twice more than what they have, and that's the game. So yeah, that was game 2. That's unfortunately the final game for today because I was running out of time. But returning back to the deck list, yeah, this card surprised me on how good it was. So if I'm being honest, I would want to push it up 2-3, but I don't know for sure. What I really want is a sideline, a forced sideline removal event card. So let me go to, just turn this off, look for special triggers. So this one requires Zeke on the field. That sucks. To KO of 5 or less. Yeah, it feels really bad when you're already behind on the board and then you go for this special effect and you really stay behind because your main target is this Bertolt and he's not really KOing 0 costs. Because there's not a lot of 0 costs that stay on the front line. It's explosive for sure. These force body removals, but sometimes especially if you're down on life, they'll just take the life. Like they'll take 1 life from here and then just let this one go through, and then probably let this one go through or free block it if they have something to block it with. But it doesn't seem like there's much I can do about it. Let's read a Zeke card to see if he can go into this deck at all. Zeke. Okay, Zeke Jaeger. Choose 1 pure Titan. Yeah, I think this is just all pure Titan affinity stuff. Yeah, and none of these are pure Titans, unfortunately. These are all inheritors of the Titan. So unfortunately can't really run that. So I guess I should just keep this up at 4 to have all my triggers and just prey on triggers. Let me push this up to 3. And maybe I'll drop this down to 2 because I really only need to see 1. And if it gets sidelined or if it gets forced out, which is a very difficult thing to do, it really forces their entire turn to be on this 1 character. I'll have at least 1 more, hopefully. That would make discarding it awkward, but it should be fine. I want to make room for this deck, or for this card here. Finally, any other? Okay, Titan Forest, I thought about playing. It is another ramp card, but I think I run enough ramp. It's also a 4 energy, and it sideline a card from hand to ramp an extra energy. So I just didn't think that ability was too good to run in this deck. Yeah, this Reiner seemed cool. It is, it's from the intro where they're dapping each other up behind the back. And it is a game finisher. It's a 4K when you're generating 6 or more energy. But I do think that it really could only be replaced by this card, and I think this card is just better in that case. So I'm only running this Reiner because get more card draw, see more of your cards, see more of your searchers, see more of your raid targets, even your searcher here. if it comes to that point. So as of right now, I don't really see a really good, just like mid-range card that I would like to replace. Maybe I just need more practice with it. Maybe this is the deck. This is the deck here, and I just need more practice with it, with playing cards with 2 AP and planning out my turns accordingly, and energy ramping and knowing how much energy is on board and all that. But yeah, thank you for watching the whole video. Thank you for sticking all the way through. If you want to see more Union Arena content, make sure to subscribe. There will be more coming. Like I said, tomorrow I will be trying out the Levi build and seeing how that goes. But I hope you guys are enjoying this this Attack on Titan week. We'll be, you know, rotating. So after the Levi build, I'll be going back to Red to try out the cadets list. I really want to try a food build, which is a bit of a meme, but where is it? Yeah, the Sasha food build. Maybe that'll be at the end of the week, just as, you know, one joke deck, not really something to take serious, because food is not really anything. The only card that is there is this steamed potato, sir. Place up to 3 cards from your hand to the bottom of your deck in any order. Draw cards equal to that number of cards placed at the bottom of your deck and choose one of your AP cards and switch it to active. So it's a free cycle 3. So it's not bad, but it's definitely a meme. So maybe I'll save a red build like that for the end of the week. So if you want to see that, go ahead and subscribe. You'll be notified whenever I upload. You get to see all the decks first, and I will make this deck public. I forgot to save the last deck. I'll make this deck public as Marley Titans, and I'll try to link it. I know there's a way to link it from here to the YouTube video. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I will see you all in the next one.